What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got another new Transformers card to look at. It's coming in Wave 2, and this is not an exclusive reveal. Huge shout out to the lovely folks over at Wreck and Rule. I will pop a link in the description to their YouTube video where they did have the exclusive reveal. Great channel, lovely guys, been supporting the game since the beginning. Exactly the kind of guys that should have an exclusive reveal. So do me a favour, if you're watching this video, make sure that when you're done here, you give that video a click, go and check it out, because we want to support the channels the Wizards are helping out with exclusive reveals, so that hopefully these channels get exclusive reveals in the future and everybody wins. So what is the card and what does it do? The card is Reckless Charge, it has an orange icon, and it reads, it's an action card. One of your characters gets +4 attack until end of turn. At end of turn, do 3 damage to it. So, risk reward, shall we say? I mean, clearly +4 damage is awesome, and clearly taking 3 damage is not great. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to use it on this, but if you put this on Slammer, it will literally knock itself out at the end of turn, which is probably not the kind of thing you're looking for. You can put it on Slammer if you really want to, and I mean, look, Slammer's a 4-cost card, and this will put it up to an attack of 7, which is awesome, but I don't think you really want that. And look, the great thing about this, the average attack of a Transformers character, at least in Wave 1, we don't know about Wave 2, we've not seen enough cards, was 4. And this essentially gives you that much extra. And please don't sleep on the fact that it's got an orange pip. Orange pip is big, because generally speaking, if you're doing +4 attack, then you're probably playing a deck which is trying to get damage down, trying to get the attacking, going for the big damage, so to speak. So you're going to want to have the orange icons to flip when you do the attacking. That's fairly important. Now, that's not to say that this card is completely unique. There are other options that we can use in order to actually get some extra damage of this nature down. One of the most similar cards we see is Leap into Battle. Now, Leap into Battle gives you +3 attack, and there's none of this take damage yourself downside. But it does have a blue pip, and we saw this quite a lot in Wave 1. Cards that are really good for attacking decks having a blue pip, and cards that are really good for defending decks having an orange pip, to basically say, look, you can get the advantage in one way, but not in both ways. Well, this is letting you have both the advantages. It's great for an attacking deck, but you've got to take the free damage in order to do so, which is a little bit of an issue. We've got the bigger they are. Now, the bigger they are only gives you +2 attack, but if you're up against a character that costs more stars than you, you also get PS4, which I would say is a handy advantage. But then again, you've still got that blue icon, which is less than ideal. Static Laser of Ironhide is probably actually the most similar one here. +3 attack and you take 2 damage counters, though you take them straight away, if it's not attached to Ironhide, and that does have an orange icon, so you can get pretty close with Static Laser of Ironhide. But then again, it's not an action which, as we're going to see, can be a big advantage. And also, right, how many times have you been 1 damage away from getting a KO on a character? So there's a big difference between 3 and 4 here. Then we've got Grenade Launcher. Now, a lot of people are saying this is similar to Grenade Launcher, and it's not that similar. Firstly, yes, it gives +4 attack. Yes, it's for 1 turn. And yes, it is with an orange icon. But it's an action which can be really good, and you take the damage, and you can play them both. You can play 1 action, 1 upgrade per turn. So go ahead and play Reckless Charge along with Grenade Launcher, give yourself +8 attack. That sounds like you're going to finish some games fairly early here. I should also give a quick shout out to Energon Axe that gives you +3 attack and PS2. But you can only put it on damaged characters, and it has a blue icon. So it's not like we don't have other cards that can give you extra attack, but they're not quite as extreme as this. So I want to have a look at the characters that are going to like this, and I've split them up into 3 categories. The first category of which is, who needs extra attack? And for me, the most obvious answer at the beginning is RC. RC is ridiculous. RC in bot mode has Pierce equal to your attack. Pierce is guaranteed damage. So if you've got Pierce 7, then you guarantee 7 damage just as long as your attack is 7. But given that RC's Pierce and attack are always the same, that's not an issue. Brilliant. So what you can do here is just get up to 5 attack, Pierce 5. Or get a grenade launcher and go to Pierce 9, for instance. It could be a little bit silly. But I also really like Bumblebee Legendary Warrior here. Now, when you flip to alt mode, you can attack untapped characters as though they were tapped. But an attack of 4 is average, it's not that huge. And what the idea I really like with Bumblebee Legendary Warrior is going, right, there's a character I really want to take out. But as it stands, it's untapped and I'm only allowed to attack tapped characters and boo, hiss, etc. Hang on a second and just build your attack using cards like Reckless Charge to take out a character. Not sure if it'll work, but if it does work, you're taking out a threat earlier than you would be able to and before it can be much of a threat. And that can give you an advantage. But I also love Grimlock here. Grimlock's got a phenomenal skill which says when this does more than enough attack damage to KO an enemy, your opponent chooses one of their other characters and puts the extra damage on it. And it's got an attack of 6, which is really good. So if you can just build up your attack more and more, it's why the Dinobot decks tend to just go a little bit over the top, playing cards like Dino Chomp to really get their attack and their bold as high as possible. Then you could potentially take out 2 characters with this. It's a kind of card where you want to just really hammer home your attack so you can make the most of it going somewhere else, and putting your attack up by 4 is really going to help with this. The second category of cards that I like to look at here with this card is who doesn't mind the damage. Because there are some characters where the extra damage doesn't really care. Now you could mention someone like RC's only got 9 health, so actually RC just doesn't last very long. RC, you're looking for 1 good Pierce attack, and that probably is the best you can hope for. 9 health, 1 defense doesn't stay around, so there's an argument that you just sacrifice RC using this card. But how about something like Autobot Cosmos? You've got 21 health there. And I know stuff like Metroplex has got more, but Metroplex is kind of your only character until you start deploying stuff. So I don't know how much I love putting this onto Metroplex, because you don't really want to be whittling down your health very quickly with that one. You don't really with Autobot Cosmos, to be honest, but we got plenty of cards around like Medic that can help you to heal off some of that damage. So if you can just survive for a couple of turns, get some healing there, you might be able to get away with this. I think you might be able to get away with this. But I think you've got some really good options with Dinobots here. If we look at Sludge, Sludge is amazing. When you're in bot mode and one of your Dinobots attacks, you repair 1 damage from it. So the repairing here can be really nice. What's important to note, however, you take it at end of turn, so you can't just use this and then attack and immediately heal off, because the damage comes on after the attack. But then when you're in alt mode, you just get to move all the damage over to Sludge. Now it might be too late, or you might get to heal quite nicely. Similarly, we've got Dinobot Swoop here, and when you flip it into alt mode, you get to move the damage from this character to an enemy. And again, maybe it will be too late, but if it's not, moving it over is quite nice. What's interesting, of course, is that if you go to planes, Slipstream's got a very similar thing, but when you're in alt mode, when any of your planes attacks, you move 1 damage counter from it to the defender. Again, might be too late, but these are all options if you can stay around. One I don't like here, unfortunately, is Ransack so much. Ransack's attack is equal to the amount of damage counters on it, which sounds really good, except again, you got 8 health, and the free defense is great, but you've got 8 health and you're taking 3 damage at end of turn. There's a very good chance you never get to your next attack. But I do like its alt mode skill here. When you flip into alt mode, you get to move 2 damage counters from another one of your characters to Ransack. So use this on a different Insecticon so that you've got damage to move over when you flip into alt mode, ready to then attack in bot mode when you flip back. And then I should mention, of course, we've got Optimus Prime Freedom Fighter here that heals 1 damage from each of your Autobots when you flip to this mode, which is nice. And actually, RC's got a very similar thing, except RC actually heals all of your characters, not just Autobots. And then we've got Prowl here, which has a lovely little skill, whereby when one of your cars is KO'd, you repair free damage from one of your other characters. Maybe you can use this to heal the damage that was done by Reckless Charge, or maybe the character on which you used Reckless Charge gets KO'd, and then you use that to heal one of your other characters. Either way, there's a little bit of potential here. And then the third and final category, quite simply, is characters that can play extra actions. And you know I'm talking about Optimus Prime, Battlefield Legend here, because Optimus Prime has a redonkulous ability whereby when you're attacking you flip cards to attack, and before your opponent flips cards to defend you get to play one of the action cards that you flipped, but it says you may play it. So essentially, if you really think you're going to need the extra damage to KO, then you play it, as long as you flipped it of course, and if you don't, then you don't. And I have to give a shout out here to Autobot Mirage. When you flip to this mode, you may play an action. Again, you might not want to take the damage on Autobot Mirage, but the option is there, and it's exactly the kind of card that helps you out with extra actions like this. And then just very quickly, it doesn't really fit into the other categories, but I do want to shout out Thundercracker here, which gets +1 attack when you play an action. So actually, if you play this, you go from 9 attack to 10 attack, because you get the extra bonus for the fact that you've played an action. I'm not denying that this is a risky card to play. Taking free damage counters onto one of your characters is not ideal. But it is +4 attack, which is ridiculous. And even if you don't want to play it as an action, it's got an orange pip, so it's still going to help you as an attacking deck. And let's face it, it's not just Grenade Launcher, because as I've shown, there are a whole bunch of cards that actually make it beneficial to play an action. So that's what I think about Reckless Charge, but I would like to know what you think about Reckless Charge. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, ladies and gentlemen. But please do remember the most important rule as always. Be nice, would ya? And do make sure you're checking out Wreck and Rule. Lovely people. Spoiled this card. Cool with me doing a video about it. I messaged them, of course. So, yeah, just click the link in the description. Yeah, I'm willing to bet you won't regret it. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about, well, Transformers and other things. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.